Okay, so the New Orleans Saints drafted Ian Book, which was an interesting decision in my opinion. They already have two potential quarterbacks with Jameis Winston, with Taysom Hill. Maybe they just wanted a backup, a guy who could play behind. If they want Jameis to be the starter, they're still going to want Hill to do some of the other stuff. And then you want just like a straight up backup in Ian Book. That's possible. I still stand by. There is a chance that Taysom Hill ends up being a starter, given that Hill got the starting job last year. But it seems like the general consensus from Saints fans is that they believe it will be Winston. So let's talk about Ian Book. Let's talk about what he brings to the Saints. Could he potentially have starter upside? Some people think yes. I'd say it seems like maybe, but probably not, just because there are a lot of issues. But the hope is maybe you can fix him. Yes, there's things that are issues of him, but there's sort of some mechanical things that if you fix, maybe he could be a better player. And really what I'm talking about is his footwork. His footwork is, I keep saying it, it's awful. And I want to show you exactly what I mean. So let's just jump into it. So let's start off with this play. So on this play, it's very simple. You see the route he wants to throw to. This should work. It's a 1st down and 5. This should get you another 1st down right here. So just get the 1st down. Don't worry about it. Fine, we get how this works. And right when this play starts, so Book takes the snap, he's getting ready to throw it, but really look at his feet. And maybe it's a little bit hard to tell exactly from this still image, but basically what they say is you kind of want to get if you're a right-handed quarterback, get your left foot sort of pointed towards where you want to throw. So where you want to throw, you want the angle pointed towards where you're going to throw. That's where you want your feet to be. However, for Book, as you can clearly see, his left foot is just way too far over to the left. Really, if you were to sort of draw a line to where both his feet would be, it looks something like this, where as you see, it's just way far over to the left of where he actually wants to throw it, which typically means when you do stuff like this, you tend to pull the ball a little bit, and he's going to throw it a little bit further to the left. Should throw a disclaimer in here. This is from what my understanding of how this works, from what people who are much smarter than me know about this stuff. That's kind of what I do, is I read smart people's opinions on this kind of thing, and that's kind of how I learn, which I think that's a good way to do it. But yeah, that's from what I understand. And as you see, he does in fact pull this one a little bit, and it's not a 1st down. It's still not a horrible thrown ball, but it could have been a lot better if he just sort of was able to push it a little bit more. And I think the footwork is a key factor in that. So that's the number one issue. And again, you can't watch an Ian Book game and focus on his footwork and not realize how awful his footwork is. Even if you're not a big footwork guy, you have a idea of what good footwork is just from watching football. You can tell right away, like, okay, yeah, that doesn't look great. It's very Drew Lock-esque. It's very similar, and that's an issue. I mean, getting your footwork down, it's important at the NFL level. But let's talk some positives now. I don't want to just bash Book. There's one interesting positive that isn't really getting talked about, which is Book is pretty athletic. He's mobile, and hey, Sean Payton, he clearly likes a mobile quarterback. He has Taysom Hill, who he had start games. So that's something that I think that you could potentially see, is maybe you want Ian Book to, if he is a quarterback, to actually run with the football. Like on a play like this, what's going to happen is that, so I showed the blocking concept. This would be the blocking concept if it was just a handoff, because that's how it would work. But what's going to be interesting about this is that since it is not going to be a handoff, but instead Book is going to take it himself, the player who I've circled in black, the guy who typically would be unblocked, now the halfback can run out and block him, and Book, now the next closest unblocked man, is just further away. That's the value of having a quarterback run with the football. And so having someone like Book who can run with the football, that's what they're going to do here. And as you see, it's the quarterback draw, and you notice he has pretty good speed. He's able to run over and pick up a good amount of yards. So that absolutely is something that could potentially be a factor for New Orleans. I wouldn't be shocked at all if it is, assuming he gets playing time, which is obviously not something I actually think will happen, just something that potentially could happen. Another thing I want to talk about would be something like this. So it's going to end up being, I've paused it right here. Your screen isn't broken. I've just paused it. I always got to mention that because it gets confusing sometimes when people see a paused image. They think that their phone broke or something. No, I've just paused it. But what's going to happen is that The main thing I want you to focus on is really just watch Ian Book's eyes. Right when his play starts, notice how he kind of keeps his head towards the first reads, even steps up a little bit. Is still looking at the same read, right? So that's not a bad thing. He was waiting for that to get open. Maybe you could say, yeah, staring down a receiver, whatever. That's a nitpick. That's not my concern at all. In fact, I don't have a concern on this play. What's going to be interesting about this play is that he's going to get to a second read that he isn't looking at. But notice how quickly he gets from looking at the guy he wants to throw to throwing. He moves up, he sees the guy, and makes the throw off platform. Again, not the best throw. It was off platform, but I think that that's a good play because it kind of shows that when things break down, he can figure something out. To me, that's actually a little bit promising. Now, sometimes there'll be a play like this where he tries to do it and can't really make the throw because he sort of waited too long, got his head around too quickly and missed the throw a little. So again, that was kind of lazy footwork, things of that nature. So if you're Sean Payton, what you have to do is you have to say, hey, it's great that you can look over and make a read quickly and say, oh, I should throw it there instead. Still take the time to get your feet planted, get your shoulder square, and then make the throw. Because if he just takes that extra step, it'll work a lot better. And he is quick enough with the other stuff. He can't afford to take that extra step. So that's what he needs to do. But again, he's very raw. He is the definition of a project. You're taking a flyer on him. I bumped my microphone. You're taking a flyer on him. You're hoping it works out. And it certainly could. And the biggest main other thing I have to bring up, though, is just going to be accuracy. There were some accuracy issues. Like on this play, for example, I'm not saying he was the most inaccurate quarterback ever or anything. There just were some issues. It's going to be a cover 3 zone. You have a receiver running deep, and that's the way this works. And right when this play starts, it's going to not really work, but it kind of is. I mean, Book makes the throw. It's not wide open, but you throw it further deep, you make your receiver make a tough catch. This is the play that you can see work. I mean, how often do we see in the NFL a quarterback make a throw where the receiver has a chance? What you can't do is underthrow this or throw it towards the middle, and Book is going to do both. I mean, watch his throw. That's just horrible, quite frankly. And we can blame the footwork if we want to, but he had fine footwork on that play. He had a clean pocket. That was just a miss. So while I do find him an interesting prospect, I think the most interesting thing about him is sort of his athleticism. Maybe that's something that Peyton will find a way to work into his offense. Who knows? Maybe he'll get Ian Book to run some plays because he's kind of a quicker quarterback, and now you have 3 quarterbacks who are all getting playing time. Because listen, Sean Payton's crazy. He'll do what he wants to do, and that's part of what makes him great. So I doubt that'll happen, though. I think they really just wanted some depth in the quarterback room, and maybe they feel like, hey, if we can fix Ian Book's issues, maybe he can be a much better quarterback, which it's an ambitious task, but it's maybe worth taking a 4th-round flyer on, because if it works, you could potentially have a star. I just personally think it's not the move I would have made, and maybe it is, I don't know, because it's, again, 4th-round pick. I guess what I'm really trying to say is I'm just not sure. I wouldn't get my hopes up if I'm a Saints fan. That's all I'm saying. I don't think he's going to be some superstar. There's a very small chance of that happening, but that's the logic behind the pick, I think. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I know there are some Ian Book fans out there. There's some book heads out there. So if that's you, let me know in the comments below. Why do you disagree with me? I always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.